the Winter Moon Festival. The next day, Damien cancelled all pack business, declaring he would take me to the Winter Moon Festival in town. His enthusiasm seemed genuine, almost desperate.
The human world burst with colour and life compared to the stark territory in the frozen north. Street vendors called out their wares while children darted between stalls trailing sparklers.
Despite everything, I couldn't help but feel a flutter of excitement. The festival's energy was infectious. If not for Damien, I would never have chosen to live in such an isolated, desolate place. But now, none of that mattered. In 2 weeks, I'd be free. Damien kept me pressed close as we walked through the crowded festival, his hand constantly reaching to adjust my moonstone necklace. His mating gift. Each touch felt like a brand on my skin.
A young wolf pup with bright eyes bounced up to them, clutching a basket of flowers.
Alpha King!
She bobbed in an awkward curtsy.
Moonlight flowers for your mate. They only bloom during full moons. They mean eternal love.
The flowers glowed with a soft silver light, beautiful and rare.
I tensed, about to refuse, but Damien was already picking through them with a pleased smile. He examined each bloom carefully, finally announcing,
I'll take them all. How could I resist such a perfect symbol?
Wait! I forced myself out of my daze, reaching to stop his hand. Damien turned to me, eyes warm with confusion.
What's wrong, love? You've always loved moonlight flowers.
A painful memory. My voice came out stiff. I don't like them anymore. His face went rigid, pupils contracting as his expression turned unnatural.
Something like fear flickered in his eyes. He forced a smile, but his voice was strained.
But Sierra, they've been your favorite since we met. Why suddenly?
My heart clenched with familiar pain. I remembered how he'd once spent months cultivating an entire garden of moonlight flowers outside our quarters, nurturing them through the harsh winter just to make me smile. Now he picked these same flowers for Emily, secretly delivering them to her cabin in the woods. The question burned in my throat. When you gave Emily these flowers, did you remember your promises to me? Did you feel any guilt at all?
Before Sierra could speak, a new guard she'd never seen approached Damien from behind. Something about their scent made Sierra freeze.
The guard was slight for a male, features delicate despite attempts to appear masculine. But under the artificial musk, I caught a familiar floral scent. Emily. She'd disguised herself as a male guard, but couldn't mask her true scent from another wolf.
Alpha, urgent news from the southern border.
She said, deepening her voice.
Your immediate attention is required.
Damien's power flared briefly before he recognized her. His expression flickered between anger and something else.
My breath caught painfully. Of course he knew who she was. Even disguised, her beauty shone through. That ethereal quality that had captivated my mate. A dangerous disguise. Damien shifted, placing himself between us, as if to shield her from my view.
Sierra, enjoy the festival while I handle this.
His guilty eyes couldn't quite meet mine. I lowered my gaze, hands clenched behind my back. Fine. I can manage alone. He reached to brush my cheek, but I turned away.
Damien's voice hardened as he addressed Emily's guard disguise.
Your carelessness could have consequences. Remember your place.
The threat in his tone was clear, but his eyes held something else when they met hers. Emily bowed, a small smile playing at her lips.
Of course, Alpha. We should hurry.
Her voice had lost its masculine edge, becoming honey-sweet. Damien scowled and roughly grabbed her arm.
Enough. You risk too much.
His power flared, but the gesture felt more like a caress than punishment. Emily's face showed a flash of triumph before crumpling into fake submission.
She backed away, head bowed.
Once she disappeared into the crowd, Damien's expression softened as he looked at me.
Sierra, browse the festival. I won't be long.
I nodded mechanically, waving him away. He stroked my hair, then ordered 2 betas to stay with me. His eyes turned cold.
Watch her carefully and find that necklace.
Such a convincing performance. His passionate command made me laugh bitterly inside. Heartbreaking discovery. As Damien vanished into the crowd, I silently followed, leaving the confused betas behind. I tracked them to an abandoned cabin at the festival's edge. Through the window, I watched him pull Emily into his arms.
You're too reckless.
He growled.
You shouldn't appear before Sierra.
Emily's tears fell as she beat her small fists against his chest in practiced helplessness.
I missed you so desperately. Why are you so cruel?
She sniffled.
I thought this disguise would work.
She shifted forms briefly, her pure white wolf gleaming.
See how beautiful I am. Don't you want me?
Emily held up her arm where he'd grabbed her. The guard's sleeve fell back, revealing lace underneath. Damien's throat worked as his eyes darkened with obvious desire.
Want to see what I'm wearing under this disguise?
She purred.
I picked it just for you.
Her boldness grew with each word. He seized her arm, hunger replacing anger.
Such a devious little wolf.
Emily giggled and pressed closer.
Only for you.
They stumbled into the cabin, shadows merging on the window glass. I stood frozen as their passionate sounds drifted out. My stomach churned as I watched Damien tenderly kiss the arm he'd pretended to hurt. My ankle throbbed where I'd twisted it following them, swollen beyond recognition now. Even knowing the potion would soon erase everything, jealousy and betrayal tore through me. The final goodbye. Their intimate moans grew louder. I covered my ears but couldn't block out the sounds of their pleasure. Each noise pierced my heart like silver daggers. The pain was worse than dying. I forced myself to limp away, each step sending shooting pain through my ankle. My carefully styled hair had fallen loose, my clothes were dirty, my ankle useless. I was a complete wreck. I tried to comfort myself. These would be my last tears for him. When I finally dragged myself back to the pack house, the betas waited with my recovered necklace. The necklace still sparkled, but the man who'd made those vows was gone. I looked down at the moonstone pendant, letting my thumb trace its familiar curves one last time. "Goodbye, Damien," I whispered, so softly even a wolf's ears might miss it.
Baby, what did you say?
Damien's voice startled Sierra. He'd returned from his urgent business, hair slightly disheveled. The heartbroken Sierra appears ready to walk away from everything, but can she truly leave their marriage behind? Betrayed by my Alpha King, find out what happens next, only on Good Novel. Once the most revered couple in the entire territory, their separation would mark the end of an era. The real question now, will Damien risk anything at all to win her back? Or perhaps the more pressing question, is the damage even reparable at this point? Find out by searching the book code 385424 in the app for the full story. We'd love to hear where you think this story is headed. So do drop us a comment below and don't forget to like, share and follow. Stay tuned for more coverage on other best-selling stories.